so we got anticipated potential litigation.
I like it, man. It's good. This is an actual opinion, though. Okay, we're going to call our meeting back to order. We're going to reconvene from closed session. Legal counsel, could we get a report, please?
Sure, Mr. Mayor, but before we report out of closed session, I'd like to do some housekeeping items with respect to item number 6 on tonight's open session agenda, which is an employment agreement for city manager position. City staff was and is now prepared to offer a proposed employment agreement for this position, the vacant city manager position. Copies of the agreement have been provided to our city clerk. She has copies and will make copies available, and the candidate is Mr. Ernie Hernandez. Now, my report out of closed session is as follows. With respect to item number 1, city staff made a presentation. City council provided direction. No final reportable action was taken. With respect to items 2A, B, and C, city staff provided presentations. City council provided direction. No final reportable action was taken. And lastly, with respect to item number 3, city staff made a presentation. City council provided direction. No final reportable action was taken. And that completes my report out of closed session. And I also would like to add that Councilmember Garcia joined the city council in closed session. So all five members of the city council were present during the discussion of the closed session items. Thank you.
Thank you, legal counsel. And at this point, we're going to call our regular city council meeting to order. Lena, can we have roll call, please?
Councilmember Garcia,
Here.
Councilmember Lainez,
Here.
Councilmember Iboyer,
Here.
Vice Mayor Altamirano, and Mayor Guimedo.
Here. And could I please ask everybody to please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance by our acting city manager, Vilko Domic. And please remain standing for the invocation by our Vice Mayor, Ivan Altamirano. Thank you.
Everyone, can I get you to place your right hand over your heart and begin? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
Esteemed council members and community members, as we meet today, let's remember the essence of leadership: unity, compassion, and mutual assistance. In times of challenges, these principles guide us. Let's embrace our differences, lead inclusively, and make decisions that benefit all residents. Thank you for your dedication. Let's continue to lead with integrity and empathy, creating a city where everyone feels valued and supported.
Amen.
Amen.
Thank you. And at this time, we're going to move to appearances and presentations. We're going to move to item number 1. We have a proclamation designating the month of April 2024 as Autism Awareness Month. And I believe we have our Parks and Recreation Director who's got a presentation. And I believe we also have one of our Parks and Rec Commissioners who's going to be making some remarks as well. Thank you both.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. I stand before you today to recognize and celebrate Autism Awareness Month in the City of Commerce. This is a time for us to come together as a community to show our support for individuals with autism and their families. In the City of Commerce, we are committed to creating an inclusive environment for all members of our community, including those with autism. We understand the importance of providing opportunities for individuals with autism to fully participate in all aspects of our community life. As part of our commitment to inclusivity, we have implemented various initiatives to support individuals with autism. For example, during our special events, we now provide a quiet zone area where individuals can take a break from the sensory stimulation and relax in a calm environment. This ensures that everyone can enjoy our events to the fullest extent possible. I would also like to acknowledge the invaluable contributions of our Disability Access and Opportunity Commissioners. They have been instrumental in providing insight and recommendations on how we can further improve accessibility and inclusivity in our community. Their dedication to this cause is truly commendable. Additionally, I am proud to announce that City Hall will be illuminated with yellow and blue lights throughout Autism Awareness Month. This serves as a visible symbol to our commitment to supporting individuals with autism and raising awareness about this important issue. Also, we would like to express our gratitude to the Regional Center for their ongoing support to our community. Their partnership has been invaluable in helping us provide resources and services to individuals with autism and their families. Also, I am proud to say that the City of Commerce is a welcoming and inclusive community for individuals with autism and special needs. Let us continue to work together to create a more inclusive society where everyone feels valued and supported. Lastly, and before I introduce to you one of our commissioners, you were all left a small gift earlier this evening on the dais with several bracelets. We ask that you wear them in support this month, and we ask you to share the extras, and if you need more, feel free to contact us because we do have additional ones to share with your family and friends and community members. At this time, I would like to introduce to you Commissioner Miriam Madrigal to say a few words.
Good afternoon, Honorable Mayor and City Council. Thank you for allowing me to speak today. I want to thank Greg and Elise for speaking on what the City of Commerce has done to raise awareness and provide inclusion. I want to address the council as a mother of 2 children with disabilities. Part of awareness is living in the reality of what our children face due to their disabilities. In a study done by the Reuben Mann Family Foundation, it stated that disabled individuals make up 1/3 of half of all people killed by law enforcement officers. My 14-year-old son, who is on the spectrum, is 5'8", weighs 190 pounds. He has a full beard and mustache. He looks like he could be 20. When met with unknown people or people in authority, he shuts down. He goes nonverbal. His fear and anxiety kick in. People on the spectrum or those with disabilities might be easily panicked by loud sirens, flashing lights, be sensitive to touch, be unable to maintain eye contact, and have significant issues in responding to questions, let alone stand still. This is a legitimate fear we have as parents of children with disabilities, that when encountering an officer assigned to protect them, that officer would not have the proper training to handle or de-escalate a situation. In saying all this, I want council to understand that although Commerce has come a long way, there is still more we can do to protect our most vulnerable in our community. Like our parks and recreation staff who are trained in understanding different disabilities, we urge City Council to look into proper training for our public safety officers and sheriff officers we employ in our city, so Commerce is in the news for the right reasons and not the wrong ones. Let us please be moving forward in an inclusive environment where everyone can be safe. Thank you for your attention today.
Thank you. We appreciate your comments. We appreciate the brief presentation that you made, Greg. And I'll go ahead and read the proclamation of the City Council. This is a proclamation of the City Council of the City of Commerce designating the month of April 2024 as Autism Awareness Month. Whereas autism spectrum disorder is a complex developmental condition that affects individuals differently, impacting social interaction, communication, and behavior. Whereas Autism Awareness Month serves to promote understanding, acceptance, and inclusion of individuals with autism in our community. And whereas it is essential to raise awareness about autism to foster a more inclusive society where individuals with autism are respected and supported, in reaching their full potential. Whereas the City of Commerce recognizes the importance of supporting individuals with autism and their families, providing resources, services, and opportunities for growth and development. Whereas the City of Commerce is committed to inclusivity in all its programs and special events, ensuring that individuals with autism and other disabilities have access to participate and benefit from community activities. Now therefore be it resolved that the City Council of the City of Commerce hereby designates the month of April 2024 as Autism Awareness Month and encourages all residents to participate in activities and initiatives that promote understanding, acceptance, and support for individuals with autism. Passed and adopted this 9th day of April 2024. Signed, Mayor Hugo Argumedo and the members of the City Council. Thank you, and we appreciate the presentation, and we're extremely proud of all the work that you're all doing on behalf of not only this disability, but others in our community, and making it more inclusive for everybody. So thank you again. We appreciate you. Yes, sir.
I'd just like, real quick, to introduce our Chair, Elizabeth Martinez is here, also from the Disability Commission. I just wanted to recognize her for being here this afternoon.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us this evening. Thank you both. And at this point, I believe we have another presentation. And by the way, thank you for the goodies. We really appreciate the goodies you provided for us. So thank you. We'll share it with family and friends. We have item number 2, proclamation designating April the 7th through the 13th, 2024 as National Library Week. Sonia?
Hello, good evening, Mayor and Council. And I think I have a presentation. It's that time of the year again where libraries across the U.S. celebrate National Library Week. This year's theme is Ready, Set, Library, a race to discover the possibilities at your library during this week, no matter what race people are in, either to find a job or find a favorite story, launch a new business, or begin raising a family. The library, your Commerce Library, provides an inclusive and supportive community where everyone belongs. April 7th through the 13th is the time to celebrate our nation's library workers' contributions and promote library use and support. Here at Commerce, we are celebrating all week long with a variety of programs for all ages. We began actually yesterday, and we hosted a VIP behind-the-scenes look at our Rosewood Library back offices. So the community was able to register and see the magic that happens behind the library staff doors, offices. The community got a chance to see how we create, how we plan, how we organize, how we execute the services and programs that are offered to our community. They also had the chance to meet with some staff members that are not always in the front, but their work is behind the scenes. That was yesterday. And also at Veterans Library, the teens had a program where they created either a blackout poetry or they worked with Legos. And today we had Bugs and Bug Print, bug exhibit followed by a thumbprint art. That was at Veterans. Rosewood will be tomorrow, and Thursday will be at Bristow. Followed by virtual reality. We have an Oculus, and on April 10, it will be held at Bristow, and then on Friday will be also at Rosewood. Thursday we have, or one of our popular events, we had it on January, but it was such, people just came back asking if we could have it again. It's our Calm Oasis Relax at Your Library, so we're having that also on Thursday. And we're going to finish off by celebrating our library volunteers on Saturday, April the 13th. So everybody's welcome to come to any of the programs that we're having that are still left during this week. I also want to acknowledge our wonderful staff, especially today, which is National Library Workers' Day. And as you can see here in this picture, this is the staff that really makes the library what it is. And I just want to remind the community to visit one of your Commerce libraries. And if we can't visit in person, we're always open 24/7. And thank you for proclaiming National Library Week this week.
Thank you. Thank you for your presentation and the great work that you all do. And I know you got a great team over there, and we're really excited with the different programs that you've, I think you guys have really been very creative in getting people out there, and I've been to several of your events, so I really enjoy what you're doing over there. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I'll read the proclamation there. Okay. Thank you again. A proclamation of the City Council of the City of Commerce designating April the 7th through the 13th, 2024 as National Library Week. Whereas today's libraries are not just about books, but places that foster a sense of connection and build a community. Whereas libraries of all types are at the heart of cities, towns, schools, and campuses. And whereas libraries have long served a trusted and treasured institutions where people of all backgrounds can be together and connect. And whereas libraries and librarians build strong communities through transformative services, programs, and expertise. Whereas libraries which promote the free exchange of information and ideas for all are the cornerstone of democracy, promoting civic engagement. Whereas librarians and library workers partner with other civic organizations to make sure their communities' needs are being met. Whereas libraries and librarians empower their communities to make informed decisions by providing free access to information for all. Whereas libraries are resources for all members of the community, regardless of race, ethnicity, creed, ability, sexual orientation, gender identity, or socioeconomic status, by offering services and educational resources that transform lives and strengthen communities. Whereas libraries, librarians, library workers, and supporters across America are celebrating Library Week. Now therefore be it resolved that the City of Commerce does hereby proclaim the week of April the 7th through the 13th, 2024 as National Library Week, and encourages all residents to visit the library this week to take advantage of the wonderful library resources available at the City of Commerce Library, Public Library. Passed and adopted this 9th day of April 2024, signed Mayor Hugo Argumedo and the rest of the members of the City Council. Thank you again, and that concludes this item. Thank you. Appreciate your presentation, Sonia, and the great work you guys continue to do out there on behalf of our entire community here. Thank you. Okay, and at this point, we're going to move to public comment. Do we have any public comment?
No public comment.
Nope. Wow, that's a surprise. All right. At this point, we'll move to consent calendar. On the consent calendar, we have items 3 and item number 4. Is there any comments or questions on these items? If not, a motion would be in order to approve these items.
There are none. I will move.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any objections? Seeing none, motion passes. Thank you all very much. We'll move to scheduled matters, and we'll start with item number 5. Presentation and update from Sheriff's Department of Public Safety in the City of Commerce. Sergeant Duarte, good to see you.
Good afternoon, Mayor and council members. I will be presenting the stats up to date to April 9, 2024. As you could see, there has been a decrease on all our stats. So I'm gonna go from the ending of March and then I'll give the April ones. So by the end of March, we had a total of 6 assaults. We had 2 robberies. Those robberies were either force or fear. We had a total of 12 burglaries. We had other thefts, 79, 46 were grand theft, 12 were from vehicles, 21 were petty thefts. We had a total of 28 auto thefts. That was for the ending of March. The beginning of April, we have 4 assaults. We have 1 robbery, which is an armed robbery. We have 3 burglaries. And we have other 8 thefts, 5 of them are grand thefts, and 3 are petty thefts, and we have 4 auto thefts. The City of Commerce has a total of 33 misdemeanor arrests for March and 26 felony arrests for March. In addition, if you could go to the next slide, please. The SAO, along with Commerce Public Safety officers, towed an RV which did not have any license plates, did not have any vehicle identification number. During the contact with that individual, he was found to have 3 outstanding warrants, so he was arrested for those. In addition, the SAO deputies arrested a male Hispanic for sales of a controlled substance. This was methamphetamine. They did another arrest where they did not make an arrest. They recovered a firearm and narcotics from a male Hispanic who evaded deputies. The next one, deputies, along with city staff, attended LA HOP presentation, the homeless outreach portal, which was provided for all city staff and ourselves to report unsheltered. LAS deputies, along with social ed, Saucedo, Ocean Blue, and Public Works, have been working with numerous encampments throughout the city. That concludes my presentation, if you guys have any questions.
Is there any comments or questions? Seeing none, we'd like to thank you, Sergeant. We really appreciate the great work you guys are doing out there. It seems that every month that you've been reporting, it looks like we're moving in the right direction. You know, the numbers tend to be going down in terms of crime, and I think we're in a good trajectory here. And we just want to commend you for the great work you're all doing. I also participated this weekend on a cleanup right in the entrance of the 710 freeway going north, and I know that you had a staff member that also supported us there, so I want to thank them. There was 2, and I'm sorry I don't remember their names.
Yeah, it was Sergeant Ibarra who had the Explorers, he's Explorer Advisor, and it was Deputy Cadena.
Okay, yeah, thank you. They were great, and the folks that they brought to help out, I think everybody did just a tremendous job. But thank you for your report. Appreciate it. Item number 6, employment agreement for city manager position.
Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council, item number 6 is the consideration of an employment agreement for the vacant city manager position. The candidate is Mr. Ernie Hernandez, and as reported earlier, there is a proposed agreement before the City Council and the city clerk, and available for the public. If there's any questions, I'm here to answer any questions you have.
Okay, any comments or questions? If not, a motion would be in order.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Can we get a roll call vote on this item, please?
Councilmember Garcia,
Yes.
Councilmember Lainez,
Yes.
Councilmember Riboyer,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Altamirano,
Yes.
and Mayor Guimeda.
I'm going to be a no vote on this item. Thank you. Motion passes. And I'll go to item number 7 at this point. Slauson Corridor Median Landscape Improvements Concept Plans.
Mayor, council members, good evening. Tonight, there will be a presentation on the Slauson Corridor Improvements Project specific to the median islands and landscaping. Following the presentation, we would ask that you consider receiving and filing the presentation and authorizing staff to proceed with the design of the proposed corridor median landscape improvements project. KOA will, I believe it's Greg here this evening to present, please. And we have,
Clicker, great. Thanks, Gina. All right, thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. On behalf of city staff and our project team, we are very happy to be back here to talk about this project. It's been a fun ride so far. The purpose of this presentation is to discuss the proposed raised median improvements that are part of this project, the Slauson Corridor Improvement Project from I-5 to I-710. Next slide, please. Three main goals of our presentation are to update you on our outreach efforts to the adjacent businesses who could be potentially impacted by the median island improvements. We're also happy to present our median landscaping concepts and the development of the conceptual designs of these medians. And ultimately, as Gina mentioned, we are seeking input and some feedback from council. We want to hear your thoughts, and of course, indication to move forward with the concept designs as we've started. Okay, just a quick refresher. Our project spans the 2.7 miles of Slauson from 710 to I-5. Currently along Slauson, about 50% of the corridor currently has raised median improvements. Most of them lie between Garfield and Eastern, with a little bit of an extension going west of Eastern. As part of the initial phase of the project, KOA conducted a comprehensive traffic analysis. We looked at the traffic volumes, we looked at the collision history along the corridor at the intersections. And a part of this analysis included like a safety evaluation, which helped us to determine where raised median island improvements could either improve traffic safety or increase the efficiency of the traffic signalized intersections by extending the left turn pocket storage lengths where we can hold more vehicles. So as part of that analysis, we reviewed the traffic data, we looked at the accident records, and we saw that there were a number of traffic collisions over the last 5 years scattered across the corridor. Two particular hotspots that we wanted to highlight and we noted on the corridor were at the intersections of Slauson and Eastern and Slauson and Garfield. We noticed from the data and through our field observations that there were a number of collisions highly concentrated at those points. Based on our traffic analysis, we also noted that in the next 5 to 10 years, there will be some significant traffic backups due to general traffic growth, which extending the left turn pockets could help to alleviate. And as shown on the blue circles, sorry about that, the blue circles, these are just the locations where we're proposing some raised median island improvements. Okay, thanks. Next. So KOA worked with city staff to reach out to the businesses within the immediate vicinity of these locations. In general, the median island improvements extend about 200 to 300 feet, approaching the intersections of Eastern and Garfield on the Slauson approach sides. We started this outreach early in March after having developed the initial concepts for the medians. And since then, we've received a number of comments from the stakeholders, and we've gotten feedback, and we've done a lot of follow-up calls. Part of that effort included looking into opportunities where we can take the feedback, we can take the concerns and see if there's a way to improve on the design or make accommodations where necessary, while also maintaining the integrity of the safety improvements at the same time. So it's sort of a balancing effort. Up to today, I think we have made contact and we followed up with all of the adjacent businesses on Slauson on the north side and on the south side adjacent to these median island improvements. Next slide. Okay.
Before you go on, I noted those businesses and they had issues. So what specifically were the issues that they were raising related to the proposed changes?
Yep, perfect timing. So the next couple of slides, we are highlighting some of those areas. At the intersection of Slauson and Eastern, a lot of the issues really weren't there. We got some feedback indicating that traffic at the northwest corner at the bank, that large commercial parking lot, they preferred to exit out onto Eastern, and there was some support expressed for the median modifications that we have on the west side of Eastern because we're eliminating outbound lefts from the commercial site onto Slauson, in which there was a fatality in the collision records and some other severe accidents. So the next couple slides were really just highlighting the intersection at Garfield, where we seem to get the most amount of feedback and input on these medians. Based on our collision history analysis, we see that at the driveway at 3525, that's the Mega Toys business at the northwest corner of Garfield, there were 6 collisions that occurred within our analysis period, including 2 rear ends and 1 broadside. Next slide, please. The main concern from the business owner at this corner was that implementing a median where it is, where we're showing it on this exhibit, would obstruct access for eastbound vehicles turning into the driveway. If you look at the insert on the bottom left there, it kind of indicates some of the issues that we saw in the field as well. During the peak hour periods, the left turn pocket is heavily saturated. The cars go back all the way to the end of the turn pocket. So making lefts out of that driveway onto eastbound Slauson are, not really the safest turning maneuver. For the most part, we noticed that cars would block that turn lane during the peak hour period, so making that left turn is impossible. But in some cases, we saw that the cars queued up and sort of left the space to allow cars to go in out of a courtesy. So left turns would be prohibited as part of this median island improvement. And this also goes for lefts turning in from the left turn lane into the driveway. So we looked at also the local circulation, and there's an existing access driveway on the Garfield side, which provides access to this parking lot as well. So, if you take that driveway in combination with the driveway on Slauson, access to trucks is provided in every other direction it would be, except for eastbound. Next slide. So on the east side of Garfield, we have a few more driveways near the traffic signal. And the existing conditions are similar to the west side. There's no existing median. It's what we call a double yellow center line stripe, which does allow for turning movements over that center line, provided that the driver does them, judiciously and safely. So these improvements would implement a raised median for the first, it would take the 200-foot turning pocket, expand it another 100 feet, and it would prohibit direct access from that left turn lane to the adjacent driveways. Let's go to the next slide. We received input from the 7-Eleven at the southeast corner of the intersection, as well as some of the trucking-related businesses on the north side. We've got Joe's Auto Care, 6843, which has 2 driveways, and we also have 6915 ABC Commerce LLC. So as you can see from the images on the right, some of the concerns we had included cars turning out of the 7-Eleven driveway going west. So they would be crossing the center line. They would be crossing the left turn lane and going into westbound traffic. And similarly for traffic queued up into the left turn lane, some of the concerns were cars trying to, again, turn into that 7-Eleven driveway. At the Joe's Auto Care site, the primary concern there was when we implement these medians, some of the existing travelway gets sort of narrowed physically, so the concern there was that, we want to make sure that we provide enough maneuverability for trucks to enter that driveway. KOA had done subsequently a turning analysis using the median concept plan, and we found that the semi-trucks can still access and turn into the driveway with the median islands. Another issue or another concern that was brought up was for the 6915 property, the ABC Commerce LLC, and that there was concern over whether trucks and cars would be able to turn left headed westbound into the driveway. Based on the way that our proposed design extends the median almost into that, the adjacent driveway, that eastbound left turn would not be permitted. But westbound rights coming from Slauson to the east would still be permitted into that driveway. Okay, next slide. So I'm going to turn it over to my colleagues at Nuvus to discuss the fun stuff, the median concepts and what we're proposing, and some of the highlights from our conceptual development. And then after that, we will be happy to take questions and discuss further. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. My name is Brian Maddock with Nuvus Landscape Architecture. You can go to the next slide. So our goals for landscape are working with the city arborist. We want to achieve identifying which existing trees are a potential hazard or actually lifting up concrete. Also identifying potential trees that we can actually save. These are old growth trees, so as many trees that we can, we'll try to preserve. The overall goal, though, is to kind of create an interest and color on Slauson Avenue, kind of remove that drab that you see with a lot of the urban development. So adding a lot of the color, identifying seasonal flowering plants, and making sure that you have a year-round excitement and accents along the corridor. We're also trying to limit leaf and flower litter and any potential overhanging canopies. So the selection of trees that we have gone with eliminate any of those issues. Also, we're choosing low ground covers to small shrubs that will maximize visibility on these intersections, as well as addressing the low water, low maintenance plant material, making sure that we address any concerns with, maintaining these gardens long term. We also want to suggest using solar panels, and these are for the irrigation controllers, eliminating any coordination needed through SCE to get power to those median islands. So that will kind of assist in that. We'll also need to find a POC for irrigation water. But along with that, we want to address the maintenance band and irrigation that we'll be proposing. These will eliminate any issues potentially with hazardous conditions for maintenance crews. So this is a 12-inch maintenance band that will go along the perimeter of these median islands, as well as providing point source irrigation, which is an easily maintained system. In these median islands, we also want to provide some cobble swales. These cobble swales will capture any runoff from irrigation or rainwater. And we also address consistency with Eastern and Commerce Way, which were the projects that most recently been done in the City of Commerce. And these include items such as the Caltrans blanket on our median noses and matching plant material, as well, and working with city staff on plant material and irrigation recommendations. Next slide. So here are some of the materials that we selected for our maintenance band permeable paver. Also the cobble Caltrans blanket that will be in the median nose islands to deter panhandling. We also have Sierra cobble and boulders in the median islands to capture the rainwater in swales. I also show an example of solar panel. These can be various sizes, but the idea is to eliminate that coordination with SCE. And then point source irrigation, which is either an emitter or a bubbler. Next slide. And some of the plant materials that we wanted to showcase were a lot of the flowering accent plants. Here we have Circes, Lagerstromium, and Circes, Chalopsis. These all will flower at different times during the season, from early spring into late summer. And we also have a lot of evergreen trees that have small canopies and will be maintained within the median islands, avoiding any hazardous conditions in the road. Next slide. And also providing color with the shrubs. We propose to do a series of agaves and aloes and low ground covers and shrubs to provide that accent color and really bring the corridor alive. Next slide. Here's our proposed ideas for an existing median island where we are proposing to remove some of the trees that are damaged or leaning over into the drive and canopies extending over into the vehicular traffic. We also have new proposed median islands that we're showcasing our cobblestone swales and our accent trees. Next slide. And here's an elevation of something that you would see on a typical median island with the accent trees, evergreen trees, and then our color accents for the flowering shrubs. And then that concludes our presentation. I would open this to questions and
Any
comments.
questions, comments? Councilmember Linus?
I do. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you for the presentation. I think my questions are less related to the landscaping and more as far as the implementation of the median. So thank you for the presentation. You know, based on what I read on the staff report, I see that 3 out of the 7 businesses that are impacted expressed concern. And this concern was regarding the inability to make a left turn right into their properties. I didn't see this in the concept, but do we provide any U-turn opportunities like in any of these lanes?
Yes. So in the westbound direction at Garfield specifically, we are not proposing to prohibit or alter the ability for cars to make a U-turn. So for specifically the 7-Eleven property, there are 2 driveways. Cars are now able to turn left. If they're waiting in the turn pocket, they can turn left to go across the opposing traffic. If we implement the median, they're still afforded the opportunity to proceed on the green, make a U-turn, and enter both of those driveways.
Okay. And can we go back to the slide of the impacted properties? Is that possible? I just want to see how far it would be. Okay, and so the U-turn opportunity would be at Slauson and Garfield? Or what?
Can you go to the next slide, please? One more. Yeah, this is, so U-turns currently are permitted, and we are not proposing to change that condition. So left turns coming west toward the signal can still, rather than turn left from an uncontrolled movement into the driveways, they would proceed left on the green light, they would make the U-turn, and then they can enter the gas station from either of the 2 driveways on the south side of Slauson.
Okay.
And if we go back a couple slides, it's a similar situation. U-turns are still permitted for cars, although that parking lot is not meant for cars. There's loading bays for trucks, so it's primarily, it takes access for trucks. Trucks can probably not make that U-turn. That maneuver probably doesn't work. So to access the site, trucks would either have to turn left in advance of the intersection at Malt and make their way to around the backside to come down Garfield, or they would just have to either come north on Garfield or west on Slauson through the intersection to access the driveway on the north side of Slauson.
Okay. Okay, that answers my question. Thank you.
Great, thanks.
Any other comments, questions? I'll just follow up quickly. I like the proposed changes you're making. I'm very familiar with those areas there. And, I can see where, we've had multiple accidents at these locations. And a lot of times, it's particularly on Slauson, as you're going down on Slauson, people really are really going fast on Slauson there. So absolutely restricting that left-hand turn into the 7-Eleven, I think makes a lot of sense, for me. Same on Eastern, going into that business there. So I can see that, where people tend to try to make that quick left-hand turn to get in front of traffic, and that could lead to some problems, or coming out of that property. So I like the proposed changes. It basically forces you to make a right-hand turn, and or plan ahead, You're gonna have to plan ahead and know where you're going, or when you're coming there, come from the proper direction so you can enter accordingly. So I think those are appropriate changes, and it'll improve safety in the 2 areas there. So I like that. Just a follow-up related to the landscaping. I know you're proposing, a couple of changes there. I'm concerned about, I think they're positive changes, but I'm still want to ask about obviously, once they're installed, it now becomes we're going to manage that. Is that right?
Correct,
We'll be
yeah.
responsible for them. So I want to make sure that if there's any problems, what is the warranty on the equipment that you're putting in there? If we have problems, you know, how is that going to be handled? Particularly the new technology, of course, the solar equipment.
Solar. Typically, there's a 90-day warranty period for the contractor that installs the landscape, and then they also would be involved with turning that over to the city maintenance crews, and so they would be showing them how to use those systems. And we're working with city staff on this, and these are the directions that they want to go as far as the recommendations for irrigation products and solar panels.
So beyond the 90 days, if there's an issue with a replacement, they know what to order, how to replace it, that'll be taken care of?
Yeah, we'll work with city staff and address those as they come
Okay.
along. So-
And the irrigation, same question related to that, same?
Right. So the irrigation, we specifically chose it because it's easier to maintain. Point source irrigation, you'll be able to identify issues such as breakages and fix those immediately, where other irrigation systems, you know, may potentially create an issue. So this is to avoid that.
Okay. All right, thank you. Those are the
Yeah,
only
thank you,
questions that
Mayor.
I
Thank
had.
you,
Is
council
there any other comments or questions? If not, let me see. A motion would be in order. One would be receiving and filing presentation on the proposed Lawson Corridor Median Landscape Improvements Concept Plan by KOA, the city's project design consultants. And number two would be authorizing staff to proceed with the design of the proposed Lawson Corridor Median Landscape Improvements Project. Is there a motion?
Mayor, I'll move.
I would second that. Is there any objections to the motion on our table? Seeing none, motion passes. All right, we'll move to item number 8. And thank you, gentlemen, for your presentation. And that would be item number 8, award construction contract to Armstrong Cal Builders, Inc. for the Bandini Library and Learning Center project. Yeah, I know, I was like, good. I was just asking about the status, and it's like, oh, good. Yeah. You picked the perfect time to put this item on the agenda, Library Week. Yeah. So
Okay.
please, Gina, proceed.
All right. So each year, as council knows, whether eager or not, we present an item on the capital improvement program. This evening, I will only be presenting on the existing year's program, what we've done, what we've accomplished, where we're at with the program.
I think it's the wrong item.
Item
Oh,
number
I'm
8?
so sorry.
Sorry.
Let's not skip item.
We're all excited here.
Yeah, I was-
You started mentioning capital improvement project, like,
8. Okay, so actually, I still need the same presentation. But if you can only go to the slide that shows.
Try to troll the city council.
Okay, so I'm just gonna leave this slide up just so everyone can get a visual of what we're talking about. Yes, now I understand why you were so excited. Bandini Library, we are here this evening to adopt, hopefully, a resolution awarding a construction contract to Armstrong Kell Builders for the Bandini Library and Learning Center project and authorizing construction management and inspection services by TransTech engineers under their on-call professional services agreement. In June of 2023, John Cataldo Architects prepared plan specs and engineering estimate for the renovation of the Bandini Library. What I would like to mention is earlier on, he offered to do the design, the concept design for this for only $3 to the city. So we've worked very closely with him. As you can see, the concept plan that council had earlier approved is absolutely beautiful and will be quite an addition to the city. We were authorized to advertise, which, for the project bid, and we did so in February of 2024. We received 7 bids, and the apparent low bidder, after doing our analysis, came in at just over $1.9 million. The improvements consist of remodeling the existing library and learning center, including but not limited to hazmat mitigation and abatement, demolishing of the existing interior facilities, adding new non-bearing interior walls, re-roofing, ADA compliant accessibility upgrades, landscape improvements, on-site parking improvements, building exterior and interior painting, exterior signage, installation of a new wall siding, which is that yellow that you see on the exterior canopy, window openings, new plumbing fixtures, energy-efficient lighting fixtures, fire sprinkler system, fire safety and burglar alarm, heating, ventilation, and air conditioning system will all be new, including furniture fixtures, electrical, and other amenities. So brand-new building, essentially, will come to the city. The staff recommends that the city council adopt the attached resolution, which in summary does this, the following: awards a construction contract to Armstrong Cal Builders as the lowest responsive bidder and responsible bidder for the Bendy Library and Learning Center project in the amount of $1,938,472 for a total base bid schedule amount. Authorizes up to 15% for a construction contract for contingencies. Authorizes an additional 10% for total construction contract, contingencies for C&M and inspection services, and authorizes Transtech engineers to provide the construction management inspection services. And the best part of it is that the bids, including all of that, came in at just under what was already approved as part of our Measure AA CIP program for the existing year. So there is no additional, allocation requested of funds for this project. That is already set aside in the account number listed in the report. And with that, that concludes the report. Thank you.
Thank you, Gina. Is there any comments, questions? Councilwoman Rebollo?
Just thank you. I think all of us are really excited to see this on the agenda. But mainly because, that community is so deserving of a learning center of this magnitude, especially as, as technology continues to evolve, right? High-speed internet, just everything that this learning center is going to have is something that this community is so deserving of. And the library component that will come with it, right? There was so much misinformation which was really unfortunate. But I'm glad that, we're continuing to move forward, that this community will not lose its library. They will just get a very more enhanced library with the Learning Center. And again, I'm just really excited because, as an educator myself, services like these are so highly needed in our communities because sometimes our own schools are lacking them. So to have this space where our community, students from elementary to graduate school, right, will have the opportunity to have something of this magnitude. It's really exciting. So I'm grateful for this council for moving forward on this. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Rebollo. And, Gina, thank you. It's been a long time waiting for this item, and we're very excited, and I won't be redundant. I really think that this is going to be a tremendous, improvement to the existing library that we have there, and we can't wait to open. So having said that, what is the time frame from time we approve it? What are we looking at in terms of time frame when we can actually break ground over there and actually do a ribbon cutting over there?
Yeah. It'll probably take us a couple of weeks just to bring on board the contractor, and depending on the contractor's schedule, obviously we would be pushing to start right away, early in the summer if possible. We just need to be able to start those communications with
the contractor once the agreement is in place. And we will
Okay.
let you know what the timeline is once we've had those conversations.
Great.
But we are expediting.
Thank you. Appreciate that. And please keep us in the loop on that because we're very excited to
Yes.
know when they'll start and how soon they'll be done once they do. But thank you. And if there's no additional comments or questions, a motion would be in order. And the recommendation would be the city council will consider adopting a resolution awarding a construction contract to Armstrong Cal Builders, Inc. for the library, for the Bandini Library and Learning Center project, and authorizing construction, management, and inspection services by Transtech Engineers, Inc. pursuant to their on-call professional consulting services agreement.
So moved.
Second.
We have
Mr. Mayor,
motion
may
and a
I make a suggestion before we vote on this? There's actually a more detailed staff recommendation that begins at the end of page 2 and goes to the beginning of page 3. And I would recommend that the staff, council, take a look at that recommendation and consider that.
So if we're okay, I would entertain a
retract
friendly amendment here. Friendly amendment to what was just stated. I think we can keep the motion, but we can just add the items that were referenced by legal counsel. And that was the end of item number 2, I believe.
Correct. It's at the
legal-
end of page 2 and beginning of page 3. There's 4 different actions that staff is asking the city council to
Okay.
consider.
Mayor, if I may, I'll move per the 4 actions that are recommended in staff's staff report.
I'll second.
Great. We have a motion and a second. Is everybody okay with this? Anybody opposed? Seeing none, motion passes, and this will take us to item number 9. Thank you. Thank you, Gina. And now we're moving to capital improvement program update for fiscal year 2023, 2024.
Yes, now number 9. So.
Yes.
So I will be presenting everything that we've been working on this year, which has been a great, tremendous amount of work. As you can see from the capital improvement program for current fiscal year, we're going to go through what projects we've completed first. I'd like to just review with you the street improvements. Commerce Way medians was the very first one that we completed, and then shortly after was the Mixed Master Phase 1 striping and signal improvements. And as council knows, we're working on the next phase of that Mixed Master multi-phase project. We also completed the Eastern median improvements, as well as a Ferguson Drive sidewalk installation and striping. We completed the facility improvements up at camp for the new retaining wall, as well as 7 pool filtration replacements at BVAC, which is all of them. They were original when the building was built, and they were long past their lifespan. So they have brand-new filtration and are able to meet all regulations. Facility improvements, including the 3 roofs that we've recently completed at Seniors, Bandini, and the Teen Center. We also completed basketball courts resurfacing at 3 parks, Rosewood, Bandini, and Bristow. We completed the water conservation and beautification projects. One was around here at the Civic Center, City Hall, Senior Center, and Central Library drought-tolerant landscape project, as well as the Central Library Learning Garden, which has a sign, and thank you very much, with working together with the Parks, Parks and Rec always, but with our library director, Sonia. We have a QR code with wonderful information. Library was so excited about this learning garden, created the QR code with information so that people can learn more and go into the library and get books and learn more that they can maybe take home and do themselves with their own gardens. There was also a digital public kiosk that is now at the City Hall's front entrance that will be in use for advertising all of the public notices for meetings. We are working on the wayfinding signs at this time. There are 46 locations that was previously approved by council. Projects that are in design include street improvements and beautification. The Mixed Master Phase 2 dedicated northbound right turn lane onto Telegraph. We are diligently working on that. There have been a lot of improvements. We've had to coordinate with the county on signal improvements, and a fire hydrant has to be moved, and there's all kinds of utilities that have been marked out. And so there's been a lot of activity, but you may not necessarily see it. But there has been a lot of work, and we're working on that regularly. And then we also have the I-5 freeway southbound eastern exit lighted monument sign and landscaping. This is, council previously approved the concept plan. It's with Caltrans being reviewed and waiting for their final approval, so we can move forward. We also have the street improvements and beautification on Randolph and Slauson, both grant-funded corridor improvements. The Randolph one is a joint project with LA County and the cities of Bell and Huntington Park. That one is a $6.7 million grant, of which 1.9 roughly is for commerce. City Council executed the agreement for design back in August of last year and approved the concept plan, and it is currently under design. Slauson corridor improvements, you had a presentation on that, so you know where we're at with Slauson. That is moving along as well. We have other projects that are in progress, which includes the Pathways for Hope, another grant-funded project at $4.9 million that will bring improvements to 3 parks at Bandini, Bristow, and Rosewood Park. We just had a bid opening today, in fact, so for this project. So we plan on coming soon to council to recommend an award for construction contract to begin this project as quickly as we can. Citywide street lighting improvements, we are working on the master plan at this time, and we hope to have it completed by early fall and presented to council by the end of this year. And then obviously we have Bandini Library and Learning Center, which, you know, the status of that. Central Library Learning Garden Reading Patio. So if council recalls, we've had on the left, in the picture on the left, 2 big white plywood painted boards for a very, very long time. And it was always meant, excuse me, to remove those and to extend out and make it more of an indoor-outdoor kind of a, you know, library with exterior lighting coming in, and people to be able to, you know, the library to have special events out here and just gatherings, you know, readings, or people to just be able to enjoy the outdoor patio. So on the right, you see what we've done so far. The doors have been installed. All the stucco and interior work was done. We ran all the new electrical to add outlets that were needed. We ran power so we could install speakers, which you can see the white boxes at the tops of the doors are their speakers. We wired for outdoor heating, and there's a camera out there installed now, and the carpet has been completed on the interior of the entrance for these doors, and they do easily open in both directions. So you can have them. There's a 1 fixed panel on either side, so you'll have 2 large doors that will open, and people can filter in and out as needed. I'm sure Sonia is eager to be able to use it and have people, you know, be able to walk in and out. We are getting close to being able to open that up, but it can be used, the patio furniture, except for the benches. The benches are fixed, but the other patio furniture currently is stored inside the library and is brought out as needed. So that has been a great addition. I understand that the library has received many compliments from their patrons on how nicely this looks. And then we have the Telegraph Corridor improvements. This was the one that we previously approved, council had previously approved a concept plan, but then later on decided not to fund it. At that time, the Gateway COG is working on a corridor study for Telegraph Road, which travels through multiple jurisdictions. So this was not funded for any kind of construction and implementation of improvements. This is on hold at this time. And that concludes everything that we've been working on, and I will be coming back after Measure AA presentation next, let's see, May 16th. We'll be taking the next year's CIP program to Measure AA for consideration and bring back recommendations to council. I think we're probably gonna have some discussions with council on priority projects for next year, as well as, you know, what we hear from Measure AA and what staff would recommend.
Gina, thank you for this great presentation, and I'm glad you're able to put it together and really being, you know, it's hard for us to go back and think of all of the accomplishments and the
Yes.
different things that we've done, but wow, it's great, and it looks really good. Thank you for all the great work you and the entire team, everybody working together, putting this awesome presentation to kind of refocus us on some of the things that we've accomplished. Is there any comments, questions, staff? I mean,
Just a
city
quick-
council?
A quick question. As it relates to the streetwide, the citywide street lighting, are you gonna come back with us with the proposed streets? Or has that already?
Yeah, there'll be
Okay.
recommended, kind of phased approach and what
Okay.
the priorities would be, and obviously feedback from council will help set those priorities.
Okay, thank you.
Well, we're looking forward to some of these improvements, in particular, the Pathways for Hope, the 4.9 that, you know, we basically looked at different parts of the city, and we were gonna be improving various areas. And I believe we just recently completed all that as far as input from the council. I think we were okay with that, right? And we're good. So, yeah, we look forward to just some of this stuff getting.
I'm sorry, I'm a little
Yes.
late. I'm a little late with the question, but the street lighting improvements, are we gonna have some input on the lights, I guess, style of the lights?
On the style of lights, well, there's certain leeway, but we have to keep within what's allowed to, and most of the streetlights in Commerce are owned by SoCal Edison. So Edison has their own specific, you know, specifications on lighting, so we're trying to work with them right now to see what they would allow.
So then you would show us some options.
If we
Oh.
have options to show, we will definitely
Okay.
show.
All right, thank you. Those are my
Yes.
questions.
Thank you. And I'll just piggyback off of her comment slightly, and mine is more related to, I know recently we had a neighborhood watch meet over on Watch, or a neighborhood watch meeting. And I know there was some issues and concerns over in that area, very dark, so I'm hoping that, I know they'll be covered, but I want to make sure we pay attention to that as we.
Yes, we've discussed that with the consultant.
Good. All right, great. Thank you. And I'm sure there'll be other areas as we get more information and look at this plan down the road. But thank you. Appreciate your presentation here this evening. And the recommendation on our agenda today would be to, the city council will consider receiving and filing an update on the City of Commerce's capital improvement program for fiscal year 2023-24. Is there a motion?
You go ahead and move, I'll
We have a
second.
motion, and we have a second. All right. Is there any objections? Seeing none, motion passes. Thank you. All right. Ooh, here we go. Item number 10, and that would be the status of city's recruitments, and this is a follow-up item from the previous meeting.
Yes, good evening, Honorable Mayor and council members. At the request of the City Council, and more specifically at the request of Councilmember Lainez, I'm returning with more of additional information, specifically the recruitment timeline, highlighting the positions that were presented to you 2 weeks ago. You know, the one footnote I do have here is, and I'll be happy to convey that the YES program is in its process right now. So We have underfilled the admin tech temporarily with an individual that was looking to promote in a different position, so that individual is coming on board and working full steam with HR staff to meet the guidelines and deadlines that have been presented. I believe all of you have received information as it relates to the YES program, so that will take place this year. So I'm happy to say that. So I'll open up to any questions or comments you may have of this information presented.
Is there any comments or questions? Mr. Linus, please.
Vilko, thank you for moving these things forward. I'm really glad that the YES program is back. It got moved on pretty quickly after the last council meeting, so appreciate the diligence, not only from you, but from all staff that had a part in getting that done. I was actually going to talk about the admin tech position, but you know, it looks like we recognize that they're going to have a spike in recruitments, right? We have 50 YES program
Correct.
candidates coming in, and then of course we need help in facilitating the recruitments that we got an update on. So that resource should help facilitate all of that, correct?
Yes, at this
Yeah.
moment.
Okay, great. So no, the only other question for me is, can we talk about the permit tech? You talked last time about potentially getting a contracted employee.
Yes, so I reached out to our consultants today. I'm hoping to have someone on board by next Monday to help
Okay.
augment that process.
Okay, great. Yeah, thank you again. You know, I just wanted to make sure that as a city, we were continuing to move forward and just honoring the decisions that we've made, and, you know, just making sure that our staff feels supported and our departments are filled properly. So those are really my questions. I only have one recommendation about the YES program. Since the capacity is at 50 people, normally it's at 100. I'd like to see if we could do maybe a live video lottery, similar to how we do for Camp Commerce. Since there may be tight capacity there, I think it'll just give people faith that the process is, you know, just, I think it adds some excitement to the whole thing. So I think a live video lottery would be good to see for YES.
Absolutely.
Yep. Those are my comments, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Like your idea. Good idea.
I have questions.
Councilmember Rebollo.
Just really quick, I see here on the information that we have, all the positions that have closed or in process. But I see for Parks and Rec that there are no timelines. Does that mean that those positions have not been flown? The rec center supervisor, the senior office assistant, and the class instructors for performing arts.
Yeah, they're still going through the process of facilitating what's already in the pipeline. So those two items, the two first items that you see there, the rec center supervisor and the senior officer, they will open in mid-May. And then the class specs for the performing arts class instructors will be coming before the city council at the next meeting.
So mid-May, we're flying the rec center supervisor?
Yes,
Okay, thank you.
welcome.
All right,
Let's
is
do
there,
audit.
is there any additional comments or questions? If not, a motion would be in order to file the report and presentation.
I'll move to receive and file.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any objections? Seeing none, motion passes. Thank you. I believe that concludes our agenda. All right. Great, and at this point, we'll move to city council reports. I'll start over to my right with Councilmember Garcia, please.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to start off, I want to express my sincere gratitude to our sponsors that helped put together the Crown Day on Thursday, April the 4th, along with my colleague, Aurora Rebollo. Crown stands for Commerce, Resilience, Opportunities, and Women's in Networking. And these are some of the things that I have supported since my first day in office. We had a great program with an awesome turnout and wonderful keynote speakers. We were keynote speakers, not myself and Aurora. This program empowers many young women to continue their professional development and education journeys, and we are on the right track to assisting them to achieving their goals and dreams. It is truly remarkable how much of an impact we came we can make by mobilizing young minds to encourage and change in the community. And I know that this is the first of many Crown Days we will see. So it was a great, great turnout, and I'm very happy and excited that it was just a wonderful program. Okay, so my second comment is, my education commissioner reported to me the wonderful activities that the library continue to do for our community. Thank you, Sonia, and your staff. From the collaboration with Miguel Santiago staff visits and I think it was the bugs and bug prints. She said that she thought that was great. The decoration pot plant seed and many celebrating Asian Pacific Heritage Month. These are the few things that I'm mentioning, and I want to congratulate you again for a job well done. Thank you. And let's see. At our next meeting, I would like for 2 separate presentations to be made. Mr. Vilco, can you take note, please? Can you please check if this program still exists, the Business Watch Crime Prevention Program? Do you know if that exists? Vilco. I'm sorry? Okay. So what do we need to do to make it active? And if we can have a presentation, I don't know what department it comes from, if we can have a presentation and what it's about and how we can get the community involved. Okay, and the second presentation,
You want this at the next meeting?
if that's okay with my colleagues? Yes, okay.
Okay.
Yes, okay, the second presentation, I would like from code enforcement to make a presentation on process of the open and closed cases and talk about how the timeline works. That's what I would like to see in the next meeting. If that's okay with my colleagues, put it on the next agenda also? Okay. And let's see, I think that's my reports. That's it, thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Garcia. I'll move over to my right, Councilmember Rebollo. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. And just to piggyback on her request, Vilco, you might want to get with Sergeant Duarte, who's already implementing it, not the program that we used to have, the model that we used to have, but she has been implementing like town halls with the businesses. So make sure that you kind of get with her so she can kind of give you an overview of what she's been doing.
Yeah, I know that her and Justin, right, were starting to have that discussion.
Yeah.
And he was supposed to start reaching out to the commerce business community. And
Yeah.
So, yes.
I'll just so I don't sound redundant, as my colleague mentioned, I'm just really grateful for the opportunity to have worked with the 2 engineers from Transtech, Melissa Demirci and Rafaela Diaz, who partnered with myself and Councilwoman Garcia on this idea to have a day of empowerment for the young ladies of this community. And it was just kind of like our way to encapsulate and celebrate the ending of the end of Women's History Month. It was a wonderful event. It was the first of many to come. And I want to thank our main sponsor, which was Transtech, Nationwide, Cal Water, and Alvarez, Glassman, and Colvin for investing in what was an amazing day of empowerment for over 20 young ladies of this community. So, as was mentioned, it was a great opportunity to just, I'm sounding redundant, to just, have these young ladies look at mentors and start thinking outside of the box and, have activities that they would not normally be subjected to or exposed to on a daily. So it was a great time. We had wonderful speakers, powerful women who shared their stories. And we hope that this becomes a tradition here in the City of Commerce. We're excited to already get to work for the next one for next year. And hopefully, if my colleagues would like to sit down and plan one for the young men of this community, I'll be more than happy to sit down with y'all. And it's just, these are opportunities that we're able to provide because of the platform that we have. So I'm just really grateful for the platform that we do have. so that we can do things like this. So that's it. Thank you to all the young ladies that that participated, and thank you to their parents for encouraging them to sign up. Thank you to some of the coaches who canceled practice that day to make sure that the ladies were able to attend our event. And that's it. With that, just thank you to everyone that attended tonight, that are watching at home, and God bless you and have a good evening. Thank you. Oh, and thank you to Councilmember Lainez for showing up to support the young ladies of this community.
Thank you, Councilmember Rebollo. Councilmember Lainez.
Thank you, Mayor. Not much to report, but I do want to congratulate you, Councilwoman Garcia and Rebollo, on a wonderful event. I did stop by, and it was really impressive. So just providing that opportunity for our community's female youth to feel empowered and, you know, just receive some mentorship and start to develop their network was really inspiring. So maybe at some point we will work on something. Who knows, right? So we'll talk about it. But that's all I have to report today. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Lainez. Vice Mayor Altamirano.
Also, I don't have too much to report, but I also did want to congratulate these two powerful women for taking their time and investing in these young ladies of City of Commerce. And I'm not sure if some outsiders came in, if it was just Commerce. But thank you for everybody who was part of this. And I do agree that that we should sit down and talk about the young men as well. I remember back when I was growing up, 10, 11, 12, 13, I can't remember for sure what age, but we had like a youth day. And it was a one-day thing. There was a lot of mentors that came through to speak to us. I remember vividly because I remember one guy was a drug dealer, and he spoke about like the life of being a drug dealer, all the money. However, he spoke about the time that he was caught and they raided his house and he was shot and went to prison for a very long time. And then that really changed the mind of what the young kids were aspiring to be back then, with all the, you know, Eazy-E and Ice Cube days, you know. But I really think if it'll be awesome to have something for the young ladies and have something for the young men at the same time separate. However, towards the end, they couldn't get together. I remember there was like a dance at the end, maybe like a dinner and a dance or something that the city put together for us. But I think it's a good idea. And again, I think that it's awesome to have such two powerful women to invest their time into these powerful ladies, and I'm sure they'll never forget. So thank you both.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. And I too want to congratulate both of you on a very successful event. From everything that I've heard, great job, and you really truly are both mentors to all our women here in our community. So congratulations to both of you, and for continuing to do that, to be great examples to all of the women in our community, our youth in our community. So thank you. So I attended I had a meeting on Monday on April the 1st with our Director of Transportation. I want to thank him. I want to thank our Assistant City Manager or Acting City Manager for coordinating that meeting. It was related to the bus transportation, and we've had a lot of issues related to having left part of our community behind, and I've been very concerned about making sure that we correct and address that, and I'm feeling much better that we're going to get this right with the introduction of a new bus that is going to be, hopefully we'll cut the time in half so that we'll be able to once again fill those areas that were left behind, and hopefully we'll put that behind us. So I'm looking forward to that. It was a good presentation, and I'm looking forward to the deployment of that new bus and seeing how that, we'll have to continue to monitor that closely. We want to make sure that we get it right, of course, this time, and I think we will. But thank you both for that meeting. That was great. I also attended as a representative on the Sand District. I attended on Wednesday the 27th, the LA County Sand District meeting. Pretty general stuff, items on there. Usually if there's something of value that I think is important, I will usually communicate and forward that over to Vilco and ask them to forward to our appropriate staff, whether it be Public Works or whoever the appropriate department is. And I think he's done that in the past. You know, there was a good presentation related to the runoff that we have from all the rain, and I thought it was a very valuable presentation, so I had them put it together and forward it, and I definitely wanted to make sure that our staff got to look at that. And they probably know some of this already, but it was just good information, and I said, look, why are we just sitting here hearing this? Maybe the people that need to hear this, our staff needs to hear this, and that's why I did that. And others from the district were very thankful that I did that, because I think some of that went over to everybody else as well, so they appreciated that. I also had the opportunity to work with you know, members of the business community here in the city, residents, this past weekend, April the 6th, Saturday, in collaboration with Caltrans and Bridge Publications, of course, residents of our community, members of the Lions Club. And I want to thank all of them for the outstanding job that everybody did, working together. We showed up and really cleaned up the entrance to the I-5. If any of you had taken an opportunity to drive up on the I-5 going north, it's all cleaned up, and everybody really did a great job out there. I can't thank them enough, but it really took everybody working together. Vilco, thank you also, because I know you were coordinating with our government affairs person at Caltrans, and it all started with something I saw on Facebook, and this was Senator Lina Gonzalez. So we'll thank her for the actual concept or idea of doing it. They did it over in Lakewood, and I says, wow, how did they manage to get volunteers and do all this thing? And I was looking at it, and I said, hey, I asked that they look into what is it going to require for us to be able to do that. And I think we needed a minimum of 20 volunteers, and we'll close off the freeway, and we'll get the volunteers, and we'll do some of the work. But it turned out really nice. I forwarded some video. Did I forward that to you, Vilco? No, I'll forward it over to you. I think I showed it to you, but didn't forward it. I showed it to our vice mayor also, and it looks really good. And just so you know, today I was on the freeway. I had to run an errand, and Caltrans was back. They were working on the other side, so they didn't want to just leave one side done, I guess. But they were on the other side, and they cleaned all that up. So it's both sides were cleaned up. So, I mean, and also the business, right, as you enter the freeway, they saw what was going on. They were out there cleaning up their side, all their business. So, you know, a little bit of, it just, it was good. It was a good feeling, and I want to thank everybody that was involved in making it a very successful event. We're looking forward to the next event, and we want to try to, you know, we want to help Caltrans too. We realize they got a big area to cover, but we really appreciate their help and support. So thank you. And I believe that is it. That's all I have for this evening. Thank you, everybody, very much, and I guess that concludes our agenda for tonight. Our meeting is now adjourned. Thank you.
Are you awake?